Hello, hello, Grace here. Thanks for watching this video. It's going to be a bit of a longer video today, but I'm going to walk you step by step through the process of making a volunteer sign up that sends people reminders and puts their name onto your Google Calendar. We're going to be using Zapier to do this. We're going to be using Google Calendar, and we're going to be using Gmail. Okay, so if you have all those things, we should be good to go. If you don't have a Zapier account yet, go ahead and go to Zapier, Zapier.com and sign up for a free account. All of this process can happen on the free account. You don't need to upgrade to build this. So go ahead, sign up. It'll bring you to this page. Then first step, let me go over to this interfaces tab, click on that. And then up in the top right, click create. Okay. Easy enough so far. We're going to start from scratch down here at the bottom. Okay, just so you know, this is what we're shooting for. We're trying to build this sort of a page. This is an example that I did for a church. Submit the form below. Once submitted, you'll receive a calendar invitation for the Sunday you chose. You'll also receive an email reminder the week before you serve. Okay, so people type in their name, their email, they pick a date, and then they pick an area of service. So we have a couple in here, musician, communion assistant, but you can change those and make them whatever you would like. And then once they hit submit, it will both go onto your Google Calendar. So like your master church calendar, like so-and-so is willing to sing a solo on this Sunday. And it'll also send them that same calendar invite and then send them a reminder however far in advance you choose. Okay, so pretty slick. But as we're building this interface, just know this is what we're shooting for. We want it to kind of look like this. Oops, that's my newsletter. Okay, so we're going to start with components here, okay? And Zapier lets you choose from a bunch of different components to add to your page. We're just going to start with text up at the top. You can see text up at the top. And let's edit this text over here. Let's maybe say volunteer sign up. And you can type whatever you want in here. Sign up and receive a calendar invite and reminder. And you can add, thank you for serving, or you can add further instructions for people, so on and so forth. Okay. Not rocket science. Make this look how you want it to look. Now we're going to add this plus button and we're going to add a form. Okay, so this is where we're getting this intel from. We do not need to connect a table. We can do that later. Right. So the form fields that we're going to need: name, email, date, and area of service. So let's start with name. We're just going to come over here and click add field. Type is going to be short text. Label is going to be name. Placeholder, we don't need a placeholder. We do need it to be required, so make sure to click required and then insert field, and you'll see that it pops up here. Okay. Email's already on there. That's helpful. We need date. Okay, so we will once again come over here and click add field, and our type is going to be date picker. Okay. Date. Perfect. And include time, no. We do want it to be, once again, required. Insert field. Okay, and then our last field that we want to add is area of service. So this is going to be a drop down. And you can title this whatever you want. I just think area of service kind of makes sense. We're going to choose a static list. And then you type your drop-down options right here. And each option gets its own new line. So what you can do is just type in the different options that you want. I think musician makes sense. Communion, maybe greeter, maybe, I don't know, cleanup crew, setup crew, whatever. You type in whatever you want. We're gonna disallow multiple selections just to keep things nice and clean, but you can turn that on. It just might end up looking a little bit confusing in your Google Calendar. So I keep that off. And then once again, we're doing required and insert field. Okay. Yay. This is awesome. So we have our form built. Super simple, very straightforward. What you're going to do is click on this submit button down here at the bottom, and over here you should see actions, okay? And there's one action, and it's going to be when someone hits submit, it's going to show them a notification. And right now the automatic notification that it shows just says form submitted. So you can actually change that and say like, thank you for volunteering. Check your email to see the calendar invite. You can make that say whatever and hit save. Okay. Now we need to add a zap. So this is where things get a little more complicated, but I'll walk you through each step. So just click on the things I click and you'll be good to go. We're going to hit add action. The trigger for this action is when the form is submitted. So when someone clicks on this submit button, we want it to run a zap. And then the zap underneath, we want to hit create zap. So we're going to start from scratch on this. Let's actually go back a step and let's name this new interface. We're going to name it volunteer sign up. Just so it's easier to find in the next step. Okay, perfect. Then we come over here. Let's rename this automatic volunteer sign up. Okay, cool. So it's going to actually pre-fill this trigger for you, which is super nice. But we need to give it some information to pull through. So what we're actually going to do is come over here, back to your form page, and we're going to just fill out a test form, okay? And that's going to push information into the atmosphere that we can use to build our Zap. I know that sounds complex, but just trust me here. So we're going to click on this. We're going to open it in a new tab. And here's our page. So this is the link actually that you're going to share once this is all said and done with your people. This is where they go. Okay. So I'm going to type in, let's see, my email. Actually, I'm going to use my Gmail just so I know it's going to work smoothly. I'm going to put in my name. I'm going to pick a date. So maybe I want to help out with, let's see, I want to be a greeter on September 28th. Okay. So then I'll choose my area of service. I'm going to choose greeter. Okay. I'm cool with being a greeter on September 28th. So I'm going to hit submit. And there's my little notification. Check your email to see the calendar invite. Of course, that's not working yet, but that's okay. So I just pushed that information up into the robots in the sky. And so we're going to see it come through over here. And it'll all make sense in a second. So come back to your Zap that is not yet built. We're going to click on this form submission created. This is your trigger. So whenever someone submits the form, we want things to happen. And right now, after we've done that test, we're going to hit test trigger. Okay. And it pulls through form submission A. So this is the one that we just put in. Okay. So we're going to continue with that selected record. Now it's going to ask you, all right, we've got this intel. What do you want to do with it? We are going to choose Google Calendar. So we're going to just make an event on Google Calendar. Right? The app is Google Calendar. The action event that we're going to choose is create detailed event. Okay. Our account, this is where you're going to have to plug in your Google account. So we're just going to hit add account and you're going to find your Google account that has your master church calendar in it. Hit continue. Okay, so there's our account. Yay, we've got our Google account hooked up. Continue. Okay, Now, this is where we have some fun and we can mess with stuff in here as to how we want the calendar event to show up. So don't lose me here. Stick with me. We're almost done. Calendar. It's going to pull in the calendars that you have saved to that Google account. And mine is called Master Church Calendar. So I'm going to select that. That's where I want it to go. So I want the event to go to this Master Church Calendar. Summary, we don't need a summary. Actually, I think we do need a summary. The summary is the title. Okay. So whatever you would want to title this is what I normally do. Okay. I normally say, so-and-so is willing to do such and such. Okay. There's this little plus button that you can use to add any information that someone typed in on that page into the text that you're putting in. And it's just a variable. So right now it'll show Grace Ungamak because that's the word that I just typed in. But when Joe Smith goes and fills it out, it's going to plop in Joe Smith or whatever he put in the name field. So we're going to use this plus button and it is going to, oh, it didn't pull that through. All right, hang with me here. This might happen to you too, so I'm not going to stop the recording. Go back to your Zapier interface form submission created, click continue, and then on this test, hit find new records. So it was pulling in something else. There we go. Okay, form submission B. That's what we want. There's my information. Okay, Grace Ungamak, there's my Gmail. I want to be a greeter on 9/28. Okay, we're going to move forward with form submission B. It's going to make a lot more sense. Okay, now we're back. Summary. Hit the plus button and you can choose any of the information that was plugged in to your form in this summary text. So I want it to say first name, last name, is willing to, area of service. That's what I want my summary to be. So Grace Ungamak is willing to be a greeter. Okay, and that's what I want the summary of my event to be. Then in the description of the event, I can do a similar thing. And you can change this text. I just said is willing to be. You could just say Grace Ungamak greeter. You could do no text in between. But these are just variables. So whatever the person types in to those fields on the form is going to just plop in wherever you plug it. So we're going to do the plus button once again. Copilot grabs suggestions for you, so I appreciate that. There's a whole bunch of different options down here, but just stay up here. Grace Ungamak signed up to be a reader on date. Okay, that's my description. Cool. Location, you can add a location if you want to. I don't think you really need to. Okay. Now, the start date and time is really nice because it parses information for you. So what you can do is you can just grab the date, so whatever date it was, and then you can just type like at 9 a.m. And Google's going to understand that. Okay. End date and time. So we'll do that same date at 10 a.m., let's say. Okay. Repeat frequency, we don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. Default reminders. No, do not use default reminders. We want reminders. Do we want an email or do we want a pop-up? I usually choose email. Okay. Then you get to choose minutes before. All right. So when I've set this up in the past, the pastor had wanted a reminder to go out a week in advance of when they had signed up. And so what is that? A week in minutes? 10,080 minutes. Okay. Why it uses minutes, I have no idea, but we'll just do that. 10,080. But you can choose however many minutes you want. If you want it to be the day before, however many minutes are in a day, that's what you're going to type in. Show me is free or busy. Probably leave that blank. Guests can modify event, yes or no. You choose, that's not required. Standard event. Okay, continue. All right, you guys. So if we set this up correctly, we can test the step and we're going to see it pop into this. Okay, so let's test it. This is always the moment of truth when you work with Zapier. Okay, an event was sent to Google Calendar about 0 seconds ago. Let's see what it looks like. September 28th. There it is. Okay, so this is what it ends up looking like. So now things are maybe starting to come together in your brain as to like what those variables are and then how it comes out on the final product, right? So Grace Ungamak is willing to be greeter, or name is willing to be area of service. Name signed up to be area of service on date. Okay. So this is looking good. This is looking really good to me. This church is Pacific time, so that's why you see the time 3 hours off of what I put in. But if you're actually in the time zone you're doing this in, you're gonna be good to go. Okay. So let's close this out. That is looking great. Let's come back to our Zap. Make sure you hit publish on your Zap. I've done that before where I'm like, okay, I'm all done. And then I forget to hit publish and ta-da. Okay, so let's double check. Let's make sure this is working by doing one more test on this, and everything should be hooked up and good to go now, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to put in my work email and I'm going to put in a different name. I'm just going to say like John Smith. John Smith is free. Let's see. John Smith, let's say he's free on the 21st and he would like to be setup crew. Okay, we're going to hit submit. We get our notification. Fantastic. We'll just give it that 1 second for the steps to all go through so we won't freak out if it's not on there right away. But it is on there right away. So we see Sunday the 21st, John Smith is willing to be setup crew. Reminder 1 week before as email. Bam. Looking good. So now, what do we have? We have this sign up page. You can copy this link and you can send it to people. You can get it onto your website in a little button. You can make a QR code for it. Whatever. People come to this page, they pick some dates, they pick some areas of service, they automatically get put onto your church calendar, or maybe you create a separate volunteer calendar, however you want to work that. And then they get reminders however far in advance you would like them to get that. And voila. So see if there's anywhere in your world that this could be useful. Even if it's just musicians or just communion sign up or just I don't know, mornings with mommy or whatever. And then let me know if you have any issues as you go through. It's probably a simple tweak. If it's your first time working with Zapier, it can get a little bit confusing, but just kind of follow this tutorial and see how far that gets you. Hope this was helpful. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for reading my newsletter, and I hope to talk with you soon.